In this video, I want to discuss eBanking security with you and some of the options that FPS GOLD offers to help you customize and fight fraud. As you know, fraud is always evolving and online banking usage continues to increase. As you can see in this slide, 65.3% of the US population now uses digital banking services. The usage for online banking users, at least 61% of users are logging in once a week. So that brings up the question of how can you provide a seamless online banking experience for your users while mitigating the risk of unauthorized transactions and potential fraud. FPS GOLD offers an easy way to enable and disable specific features on a per-user basis. In addition, we also offer user-based limits. User-based limits allow you to customize what your users can perform in a daily basis or monthly basis regarding ACH, if they're an ACH originator, or wire transfers, external transfers, and person-to-person payments. Dual control is another useful feature for company users who are originating ACH batches. Dual control can also be enabled for wire transfers. What this requires is one person to upload the batch, schedule the batch, and a second approver to come in and transmit the batch. If a user were to attempt to transmit the batch and they were the last person to modify the batch, they would see something similar to this, where they get a message that the batch is ready to transmit, but it's waiting for another approver. The next security feature I wanted to discuss is the access delay for person-to-person payments, mobile deposit, and external transfers. Occasionally, you'll see fraud where it's a brand new user. So the user signs up for online banking access, say they've had their accounts with you for a longer period of time, but they're new to online banking, and immediately transactions are being attempted. So we've created an access delay so that if the user is a new user and they're trying to do P2P, mobile deposit, or external transfers, we don't allow them access to that feature until they've been an established online banking user for whatever specified period of time that the institution has chosen. The access delay can also be overridden on a per customer basis. So if you needed to grant access to a new user that the institution felt comfortable with, you can do that. FPS GOLD offers two-factor authentication, which can be enabled by your user for an additional security, or your institution can force two-factor enrollment for all users. Two-factor has two options. Your customer can choose to use an authenticator app that uses any Google algorithm, or you can have an SMS option where they receive a text message. What happens is the customer enters their credentials, then they get prompted with their two-factor and they have to complete it through either the app or through the text message. They get the code, they enter the code, and that allows them to log into online banking. So here you can see I've entered my credentials. I'm going to go ahead and hit the login button. And on login, I'm going to be presented with a screen that tells me that it's sent the security code to my phone number. I will receive the code here. Type in that code. Now notice here on the screen, there is an option to trust this computer. If the customer were to trust this computer, they would not be prompted to complete the two-factor authentication at each login on this device. And now I've been logged in to my online banking. So next I want to talk about some additional fraud mitigation that can be put into place. It's always good to review the alerts that you send to your customers as well as alerts that your financial institution is receiving, and ensure that those high-risk activities, you're alerting your customers as well as your institution to review those activities. In addition to that, requiring step-up authentication for high-risk transactions would be recommended. FPS GOLD partners with additional third-party providers for additional risk analysis and step-up authentication. You can review what you would consider at your institution to be a high-risk activity and build custom rules to require step-up authentication on those activities for additional security. In addition to that, anytime there's a profile change within online banking, so a customer logs in, updates their phone number or their email address, we will alert your institution. We can also alert the customer, and you can also require step-up authentication for those types of changes.